It's that time of year again. It's time to get ready to start packing for the Boundary Waters for a canoe trip. For about the past 5 years we've went to the Boundary Waters and enjoyed spending time up there. I figured today maybe I'd take some time and help other people out, possibly with the gear that I utilize when I'm up there. So this is like a Boundary Waters bag dump. So first off, primarily this comes from the backpacking side of it. A lot of different ways to pack and what you may utilize up there. This is more towards the lightweight and minimalist aspect of it, I would say. First off, I keep a list of what I take so it's easy to pack from year to year. I manipulate that each time I come back. If I have ideas and thoughts up there, I usually keep notes in my phone. And then when I get back, I tweak or change that and then update my list and keep that so I'm able to remember what I wanted to change from the previous year. Besides that, of course, very important is a map. A lot of times we'll order our maps ahead of time, or you can wait till you get up there. All of the outfitters have maps, and there's different versions and different things of each map. I usually carry a couple different options of maps, but bought this case last year to keep it dry. It has multiple attachment points. Found that very handy and helpful related to navigation. Clothing wise, typically take a base layer of a merino wool type long underwear, a long sleeve shirt, and also a bottom. That seems to add a lot of warmth value if needed. A lot of times we go in June and it's a little chillier in the mornings, and that can be very helpful. Also take a neck gaiter, use that to sleep in, wear it through the day, keep the sun off, pull up around your ears and your face, has multi-purposes there. Also at toboggan, a lot of times I'll sleep in or wear in the mornings while it's still chilly. Take at least one extra pair of underwear. I usually take synthetic. Handy having that versus cotton. Most people know that cotton's not the ideal thing when you're outdoors for multiple days. I take a lightweight t-shirt. I usually wear that as a base layer unless I'm wearing my merino wool, but it's synthetic, so it dries very quickly. You can take it off the sun on it just a little bit and it'll be dried. We'll also take another synthetic long sleeve, typically have a hood on it. Helps with keeping the sun off, keeping the UV rays off of you. A pair of cargo synthetic pants. I've tried convertible ones and multiple different ones, but typically just a pair of cargo pants that's synthetic will dry. Used to take a backup of that. Typically I don't anymore. Just a pair I'm wearing. Next layer up would be a mid-weight fleece jacket that covers most of the temperatures up there. Haven't really wanted to have much more than that on average. A lot of times I wear that throughout the whole day. And then just in case it is super cold, I either take a puffy vest or a puffy jacket, just depending on the weather forecast. But this has been in my bag for the past 5 years, a puffy jacket. At night occasionally, and occasionally in the morning I'll have that on, but it doesn't stay on very long. It usually warms right up. Multiple pairs of socks, the pair I wear in my wading shoes, and then a pair to walk around camp in, and then a specific pair to sleep in so that I don't have anything extra wet on my feet in the sleeping bag. Usually a couple pair of gloves. These are more like glove liner, something real lightweight. And then a set of fingerless ones. I usually like to paddle with those and also fish with those. Very comfortable gloves. Footwear. I like to use more of a water shoe for a couple different reasons, but you can wear sandals, multiple different options, Crocs and those things. But I like something that has a toe on it, protects your toes from rocks and stuff, and then something that has netting and it keeps a lot of rocks and mud and stuff off of your feet. So I've had these multiple years, have a nice Vibram sole, a little bit of rigidity to it, and then grip quite well. And then a pair of backup camp shoes to have around camp, just a pair of cheap Crocs. Fits the bill. Rain gear, I typically take a pair of Frog Togs. I believe you can probably get a set for about $20 or less. They're very lightweight. not very resilient, but up there you're going to be in and out of the canoe, wading through brush and different things. Might end up tearing stuff up, so you're not out a lot. These have lasted me multiple years. Usually have at least a day or at least a few hours of rain every trip we've been on, and it's been very handy and lightweight and easy to carry. Now to kind of a sleep setup tent. Depends on how many people is going and how we plan on having our sleeping lined out. This is just a single person solo tent. Sometimes we'll put a couple solo tents on one tent pad. Most of the sites up there will have 2 if not 3. Some are bigger than that, but they'll fit 2 people easy. 2 solo tents, or maybe a 2 or 3 person tent on one of the tent pads. So that just varies according to how many people are going. Sleeping bag. Every year but one I've took a 45-degree bag, and that's kept me plenty warm. We've had a few nights it's been in the 40s. Sleep in that base layer. Serves multi-purpose to wear it, sleep in it also. And that's took my 45-degree bag probably down to 40 or so. But I also have a 30-degree bag that I can pack if it looks like it's going to be cold. Sleeping pad, very important. I find the blow-up ones are much more comfortable, easier to pack, lightweight. This has like a 4.2 R value. A must to have some comfort. Also a blow-up pillow. I've taken multiple pillow options. I've stuffed that puffy jacket and stuff into a bag that's worked fairly good, but overall, inflatable pillow. Don't blow it up quite all the way. Very comfortable. Sleep really well with that. Tarp. Tarp I think is a must-have. If it starts raining, it's nice to have a place that you can set in the rain instead of being stuck in your tent or standing around in rain gear. So this is just an Eno hammock tarp. Strap up 2 ends, stake the sides out. We've set 4 guys underneath of it and set the rainstorm multiple different times with that, and it's very lightweight. So I would not go without having some type of tarp to keep you dry. Camp chair, another thing that I think is a must just for the comfort of it. Most of these camp chairs you can get pretty easily now, weigh just a couple of pounds. It allows you to set up, have some comfort, stress off your lower back and that thing while you're sitting around instead of sitting on the logs that are usually around all the fire grates. Another option that I've set in before is your canoe chair. If you get one of those with your canoe, to have a seat back to help your lower back while you're paddling, you can also just set that on the ground and lean back in it. It's also very comfortable. Either of those options are very good for having the seat to set in while you're at camp. For firewood and that sort of thing, I like having some type of saw. We've tried multiple different options, but they make these nice fold-out saws. It's a bow saw. Blade folds out. Very lightweight, easy to use. Very compact, slides down the side of your pack. Works very well. I typically never take a hatchet. I only just take a fixed knife. You can use that. Just stick it in the wood if you're trying to split firewood, and then you just have a short limb or something to use like a hammer and a pin system to split the wood instead of swinging a hatchet, which can be extremely dangerous. Toiletries, toilet paper, or however, always have to have that. Bug net, extremely important. In June, most of the times we haven't had really bad issues with bugs. They're there no matter what, so that can be very handy. Sitting around the fire at night. Typically don't need it much out on the boat. The breeze will keep the bugs off of you there, but once you get in towards the pines, they can become much more problematic. Some cordage. I like one that has a reflective cord in it so you can see it at night. Light shines on it if you're out walking around, that type of thing. Earplugs for noise. Sometimes people can't sleep if there's a lot of noise going on, so earplugs can be nice and handy. Sunscreen's a must. Then some lotion in case you do get sunburnt. It can be very soothing. Bug repellent. I've tried multiple different things, but typically I just stick with something that has DEET in it. I usually just use 40% DEET. Does a decent job. Also permethrin my clothes before I leave. Helps keep the ticks off and some other bugs also. Some hand sanitizer for hand cleanup. I wear contacts, so I always got to make sure I take glasses and contact stuff. toiletry items: toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, nasal spray, Aquaphor, Q-tips. Main things in my toiletry type bag there. Also take some tenacious tape. That way if you have a hole in some gear, maybe your puffy jacket or your pillow or your mattress, put that on there, fixes the problem. Don't have to sleep on the hard ground if your mattress goes flat, because that will make for a long trip. Knife sharpener, easy flip out knife sharpener for your fillet knife, your pocket knife, that type of thing. Like to have some way to sharpen. Take a little small leather or a Gerber, like a little Leatherman. Comes in handy, extremely handy a lot of times. Extra buckle for the pack I take. First aid kit's kind of small. Over the years I've tweaked and narrowed it down, but triple antibiotic, clotting stuff, basic bandaging stuff, first aid mirror, whistle, stuff for suturing, some moleskin, looks like a lighter, and a few other things. Medicine wise, antacids, antiemetics, a lot of allergy stuff including Benadryl, Tylenol, ibuprofen, and then of course if you have any medicines you have to take on your own. Always take 2 headlamps. One is my primary and then just one as a backup. I like to tape an extra set of batteries on it to have for backup, and then put fresh ones in before you go. Onto the fishing stuff. A couple sets of polarized glasses. Usually just buy a couple pair of cheap ones, maybe at Walmart. Easy to break them out there or lose them. Fishing gear. Used to have a lot more gear than this, but as you go up there you'll realize that the fish bite on the main same lures year in and year out. So I've narrowed it down so this is much easier to pack around and be able to strap it to my pack for portaging. Leech bottle, we use leeches. This small Nalgene will hold about a ½ pound of leeches. It doesn't have any holes or anything in it. Just typically switch the water out with this, and being careful what you do and keep them cool and keep them in the shade. They'll last for about 5 days or so in this bottle. There's other ways to do it. They'll last much longer with holes and different things. I find it just makes a huge mess for what I've experienced. Something for anchoring system. This is just a basketball net. Close one end of it and attach a cordage to the other. Put a couple rocks in it. Allow it to go down. Hook it to the cordage. Makes it very easy, lightweight. You don't have to portage the rocks. Fishing poles. I like to use collapsible poles. Get the portage, slide them down, hook them to your pack. One less thing you have to portage in another hand. And a collapsible net. Multiple fish up there. It's been a lot easier than netting to try to get them in with your hands a lot of times, especially the northerns. So that's extremely handy. Electronic stuff, a battery backup. I find that you can't rely on solar panels to charge stuff, so however much battery you think you'll use, I just get a battery bank or 2 and take with me. I keep my phone on silence, that way it's not sucking a bunch of juice. I use it for navigation and taking pictures and those type of things. I'll sync that to my inReach so I have a way to communicate even if I don't have cell phone service, and it'll even work on its on silent, and that you can send messages through the Garmin. Of course you have to pay for the subscription, but it has an SOS feature too, so that's a good peace of mind to carry with you. And a couple handheld radios, depends on how many canoes you have. We usually have one in each one so we can communicate back and forth, communicate with camp if some people go out and some people don't. I like to have ones that have no weather radio. It's saved us quite a few times being able to listen to the weather at least once a day, so we know what kind of weather's coming and can plan accordingly. So I would definitely recommend that. Water-wise, I take a Nalgene. There's a lot of different options, but I find having at least one Nalgene very handy, easy to drink out of. Cleaning water, a couple really backup systems, just Aquamirror tablets and then Aquamirror drops. I don't use that as primary, but I have that just in case. I use a Sawyer, and then I got the gallon gravity bag. Super handy because multiple people share the water system. Allows you to produce a lot of water quickly. Also take a couple 1 liter backup bags. That way I have just in case the primary has a failure or something. Stove system. I take 2 options for that. I take a JetBoil, a of course, has its own pot. Just boil water for coffee, Mountain House meals, ramen noodles, oatmeal. Also take another pot for cooking if I want to cook like a North side or something like that. And I carry an extra little stove that I can turn the flame down on. It's super small. Use it and do something more like cooking. You can just sit there and let it simmer. So I found that handy and gives you more options for food and stuff to have to buy a bunch of Mountain House meals. That also has a small little frying pan, so if I want to fry up a piece of treat or maybe a fillet of fish or something like that, if I can't just do it on the fire. So also take aluminum foil to cook on the fire. But sometimes they're a fire ban and you can't do that, but that's usually how I do the fish, is just do it on aluminum foil on the fire. Take a Brillo pad for cleaning, a cleaning rag. Take a hanky to cover multiple purposes. Got a collapsible bucket so that way you can get water. Take your dishes up away from the water's edge like you're required to and do those. This is very lightweight, easy to pack, and a very handy item. Take a rope for the bear bag to hoist up in a tree. Usually take a couple sporks just in case I bend one, lose one, or that type of thing. I take the small fuel cell that fits into the jet bowl, and I also take a larger one. This is the one I use on the smaller one to do stuff that I'm going to do on simmer and last longer. Usually a little bottle of oil of some sort, a little bottle of dish soap, well, a biodegradable soap. Keep all my seasonings just in Ziploc bags, typically easier to pack that way. And then fire starters, just take some cotton balls with Vaseline on them, and I take a bunch of them usually because sometimes stuff gets wet and it's hard to have a fire unless you have enough fire to start drying stuff out before you use that. And then also usually take 2 packs, 1 pack primarily for the gear and 1 pack for food. Just keep it separate, makes it easy to hang. So what I like to use is a 50-liter pack. I use a Kelty Red Wing 50. I've tried taller ones. They don't fit in the canoe well. You want to keep your center of gravity low, and that's why portage packs are very common up there. I tried using one. I didn't like how it felt walking on the trail. It just, nothing packed real well in it. So I like something that has a little bit of a frame. So this one only has a 1 stay in it, so 1 aluminum frame there, but it gives you some stability in that. Has some pockets on the outside for storage, which I like to be organized. And then, of course, strapping, lashing stuff to the outside. So when this is full, since it's so short, it allows me to set it down sideways in the canoe. So that way the center of gravity is as low as it can be. There's no part sticking up. So I really like this. I've used this a bunch. And this is would be my recommendation if you're going lightweight and don't want to take a portage pack. But portage packs are great. It's just not something I liked myself. And then for food, I used to just take an additional like Walmart backpack. I finally ended up buying just a dry bag that has backpack straps on it, roll top. This is a 40-liter. It easily fits enough food for 2 people and to cook stuff if you want to keep that in there. And it gives you a lot of room, and I usually carry the pack out trash. And this bag also allows you to hang it. Has a nice handle on it. So that's what I've found over the years has worked. This is the setup that I use. Not for everybody. A lot of different options out there, but when you go it can be just overwhelming trying to think of all the things that you need. So hopefully this will help you out. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comments on this video, and I'll do my best to answer and help you out. I hope you found this video, and have fun on your trip to the Boundary Waters.